Yes, so we have found the dimensions of few physical quantities. Okay, so today we'll discuss the types of physical quantities. The types of physical quantities based on dimensions. Okay, the types of physical quantities based on dimensions. Okay, the first is dimensional constants. Dimensional constants. The quantities which have dimension. Dimensional means which have dimension and their value is constant. Such physical quantities are called as dimensional constants. So have dimension and the value is constant. Examples of like universal gravitational constant. We have seen that it has got a dimension and its value is constant. In SI system, its value is 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 11. So value is constant and it has got some dimension. The same way acceleration due to gravity near the surface of the earth, the value of acceleration due to gravity is considered to be constant 9.8 meter per second square and this has also got some dimension. So these are the examples of dimensional constant. The second is dimensional variables. Dimensional variables, that is which have got some dimension. They have some dimension and the value is not constant. The value is variable. Such physical quantities are called as dimensional variables. Examples are force. A force of 20 Newton can also be applied. 100 Newton can also be applied. Velocity. A particle can be moving with 20 meter per second, 30 meter per second. The value is not constant. So they are called as dimensional variables. Other examples, acceleration. All these are dimensional variables. The third one are dimensionless constants. Okay, dimensionless means the physical quantities which do not have any dimension and their value is constant. They are called as dimensionless constants. Examples are like pi. Pi has got a value 22/7. Value is constant and it doesn't have any dimension. Any number 3, 4, 5, 100, 700, etc. All these numbers are dimensionless constants. Why? Because their value is constant and they do not have any dimension. So they are called as dimensionless constants. The fourth one is dimensionless variables. Dimensionless variables. Dimensionless means do not have any dimension and the value is not constant. The value is variable. Such quantities we call it as dimensionless variables. Example here is like refractive index. Refractive index of glass is 1.5. It is dimensionless. It doesn't have any dimension. Okay, and its value is not constant. For glass it is 1.5. For water it is 1.3. For any other transparent medium its value is different. So these are dimensionless variables. The relative density of copper is different, of iron is different, gold is different, silver is different. So the relative density doesn't have any dimension, that is it is dimensionless and its value is not constant, its value is variable. So based on the dimensions we can divide the physical quantities in these four types. Dimensional constant, they have dimension, value is constant. Dimensional variables, they have dimension but the value is not constant, it is variable. Dimensionless constant, do not have any dimension but the value is constant. Dimensionless variables do not have any dimension and the value is not constant, it is variable. So these are the four types of physical quantities which we can divide on the basis of dimensions. Okay, next we proceed to the applications of dimensional analysis. Three applications here we are going to study. The first one is applications of dimensional analysis. Okay, we have studied the dimensions of few physical quantities. Now let's study what are its applications. The first application is to check the correctness of a given equation. To check the correctness of a equation. Okay, in order to check the correctness of any given equation, the dimensions on the left hand side should be equal to the dimensions that on the right hand side. So the dimensions of left hand side should be equal to the dimensions of the right hand side. Then such an equation is said to be dimensionally correct. So dimensions on the left hand side should be equal to dimensions on the right hand side. Okay, now let's understand by one example. We know that we use the equation of motion S is equal to ut plus half at square, where S is the distance moved, u is the initial velocity, t is the time, a is the acceleration. Okay, now let's see what is the dimension of left hand side. Dimension of left hand side, which is S. S is the distance moved, and we know that its dimension is L. The dimension of the distance moved is L. Okay, now right hand side. Right hand side has got two terms, ut plus half at square. Okay, let's check the dimension of each term. U is the initial velocity which has got a dimension lt minus 1 into time. Time has got a dimension capital T. Half is dimensionless constant. It doesn't have any dimension. Okay, the dimension will be of acceleration. Acceleration has got a dimension lt raised to the power minus 2. T square has got a dimension t raised to the power 2. So t raised to power minus 1 plus 1 minus 2 plus 2 cancels out. And what do we get? L plus L. So there are two terms on the right hand side, and each term has got the same dimension as that on the left hand side. So the equation is dimensionally correct. So this equation is dimensionally correct. So in order to check the correctness of an equation, we find out the dimension of the left hand side, dimension of the terms on the left hand side, and the dimension of the terms on the right hand side. Okay, if the dimension of each term on the right hand side is the same as the dimension on the left hand side, then we say that the equation is dimensionally correct. So this equation is dimensionally correct. Okay, here L plus L, you will not write it as 2L. Why? Because this U into T may be 30 units and this may be 20 units. So 30 plus 20, this will be 50 units. Okay, so L plus L will not be written as 2L. Whatever be the number of terms on the right hand side, each term should have the same dimension as that on the left hand side. So here there are two terms and both the terms are having the same dimension as that on the left hand side. So the equation is dimensionally correct. So this equation is dimensionally correct. You will leave here only. And then you can write down dimension of left hand side is equal to right hand side. So the equation is dimensionally correct. Okay. Now the equation which is dimensionally correct, it is not necessary that it is physically correct also. For example, let this equation is written as S is equal to ut plus 7 by 2 at square. Okay, you find out the dimension of left hand side, right hand side. There are two terms on the right hand side. The dimensions of each term on the right hand side will be the same as that on the left hand side. So this equation is dimensionally correct. but this is not physically correct. That is the equation which we are using in the physics. That is the physics. Okay, this equation here, this part is incorrect. It should be half. It should not be 7/2. So if you check it dimensionally, you will say that this equation is correct. But this equation, you cannot use it in physics. Why? Because it is not physically correct. The physically correct equation is ut plus half at square. So the equation which is dimensionally correct may not be physically correct. But the equation which is physically correct will always be dimensionally correct. Like this equation is physically correct. So this equation will also be dimensionally correct. So the equation which is physically correct will be dimensionally correct. But the equation which is dimensionally correct may not be physically correct. It may be, it may not be. Okay, so the equation which is physically correct will be dimensionally correct. Okay, so here we can only check whether the equation is dimensionally correct or not. We cannot check whether the equation is physically correct. We can only check that the equation is dimensionally correct. Okay, so this equation is dimensionally correct. You can, other examples also you can practice it, like v is equal to u plus at. V, final velocity, what is its dimension? Lt minus 1. Again on the right hand side, there are two terms. V is equal to u. U has also got the dimension Lt minus 1 plus A into T. A has got a dimension Lt minus 2 into T. Again it will come Lt minus 1. So any equation which we are using in physics will be dimensionally correct. V square minus u square is equal to 2as. This equation is also dimensionally correct. Okay, so all equations which we are using in physics, they are dimensionally correct. Okay, one more thing you can see from here, that the same dimension terms only can be added or subtracted. V square minus u square is equal to 2as. V square has got the same dimension as u square. Okay, so these two terms are subtracted. U square is subtracted from v square. Same dimension terms can be added or subtracted. Okay, different dimension terms can never be added or subtracted. Like you cannot add velocity to force. You cannot add velocity to acceleration. Why? Because they are having different dimensions. Only the terms which are having same dimensions, they can be added or subtracted. Okay, based on it, let's do one question. Okay, let velocity is given by A plus B into X plus C upon D plus T. Okay, V is the velocity, X is the distance, T is the time. And here you have to find out the dimension of A, B, C and D. You have to find out the dimension of A, B, C and D. Okay, this is the equation given. V, velocity, X, distance, T is the time. Okay, find out the dimension of A, B, C and D. Okay, as just now we have studied that the dimension on the left hand side should be equal to dimension of each term on the right hand side. That is, A should have a dimension of velocity. So what is the dimension of A? It is Lt raised to the power minus 1. It is having the same dimension as that of V. Why? Because the dimension of the left hand side should be equal to dimension of each term on the right hand side. So here we have got the dimension of A, which is Lt minus 1. Now let's find out the dimension of B. B into X should have the dimension of velocity. Okay, dimension of left hand side. Velocity should have a dimension of velocity should be equal to dimension of B into X. So B will have a dimension of velocity upon X. B will have a dimension of velocity upon X. Velocity has got a dimension LT raised to the power minus 1. X has got a dimension L. So its dimension is T raised to the power minus 1. Okay. So the dimension of B is T raised to the power minus 1. Now let's come to the third term in order to find out the dimension of C and D. See here, D is, we'll find out the dimension of C later on. First see here, D is added to T. D is added to T. Same dimension terms can be added or subtracted. So D should have a dimension of T. Okay, because T has a dimension, capital T, it is the time. So as D is added, forget about all these things. D plus T, see only this. So the dimension of D should be the same as that of time. Why? Because it is added to time. So D is having a dimension, capital T. Okay, now let's find out the dimension of C. Velocity should have a dimension of C upon T. Okay, D is also having a dimension T. This time is also same dimension. So this is T times some time. This may be 30 seconds, this may be 20 seconds. So this total will be 50 seconds. So velocity, the dimension of velocity should be C upon time. So the dimension of C will be equal to velocity into time. The dimension will be velocity into time, and velocity has got a dimension LT minus 1 and T has got a dimension, so it is equal to L. So the dimension of C is equal to L. So this way we can find out the dimension of, if the equation is given, you can find out the dimension of any term. Let's do one more question. Let the equation is P upon A by V square into V minus B is equal to R into T. R is the gas constant. P is the pressure. V is the volume. R is the gas constant. And T is the temperature. And here you have to find out the dimension of A and B. Find out the dimension of A and B. Okay, hint I am giving you. You will do it yourself. The pressure is added to A upon V square. Forget this right hand side. Here you see on the left hand side, pressure is added to A upon V square. So the dimension of pressure should be equal to the dimension of A upon V square. Okay, the same way V minus B. B is subtracted from the volume. So B should have the same dimension as that of V. Same dimensional terms can be added or subtracted. So hurry up, find out the dimension of A and B. I'll write only the answer. Find out the dimension of A and B. Pressure is added to A. So the dimension of pressure should be equal to the dimension of A upon V square. Okay, so the dimension of A will be equal to the dimension of pressure into the dimension of V square. So it will be equal to dimension of pressure into V square. We'll get the dimension of, okay, now what is the dimension of pressure? I think you have revised. Pressure is given by force upon area. Force has a dimension mLT minus 2. Area has got a dimension L square. Into volume. Volume has got a dimension L cube. Now it is V square. So L cube square. So how much is it? M L raised to the power. Here it is 6. Here it is minus 1. So it will be L raised to the power 5. T raised to the power minus 2 is the dimension of A. Okay, now let's find out the dimension of B. V minus B, the same dimensional terms can be added or subtracted. So the dimension of B is the same as that of V, and we know that the dimension of volume is L cube. So the dimension of B is L cube. Okay, one more question before we proceed to the Next application. Okay, here y is the displacement, a is the amplitude. Let's write it by capital A. Sine omega t minus kx. You have to find out the dimension of omega and k. Find the dimension of omega and k. Y is the displacement. Displacement has got a dimension, capital L. Amplitude, A is the amplitude given in the question. A is the amplitude and amplitude is maximum displacement. So this is also some displacement. So amplitude also has got a dimension, capital L. Okay, now we have studied that sine theta should be dimensionless. Okay, we have already studied, we have found out sine theta, any trigonometric ratio should be dimensionless. It is omega into t minus k into x. Okay, it's just a Greek symbol. Omega into t minus k into x. So here you have to find out the dimension of omega and x. In order to be dimensionless, t is the time. Time has got a dimension, capital T. Okay, in order to be dimensionless, omega should have a dimension of 1 upon t. Then only this t and t raised to the power minus 1 will cancel out and this will become dimensionless. The same way, k into x. X is the distance moved, which has got a dimension L. Again, this term should be dimensionless. In order to be dimensionless, k should have a dimension of 1 upon L. Then only it will cancel out and the sine theta will be dimensionless. Okay, this argument of the sine should be dimensionless. So omega into t should be dimensionless and k into x also should be dimensionless. But here we know that t is the time, it has got a dimension t. So omega will have a dimension 1 upon t, that is t raised to the power minus 1. Now you can check, if you put omega as t raised to the power minus 1, this is t, it cancels out and this becomes dimensionless. The same way, k should have a dimension L raised to the power minus 1. Then only this will become dimensionless. K here is, x here is length, capital L. So k should have a dimension L raised to the power minus 1. Then only it will cancel out and it will become dimensionless. Okay. So few questions here we have done. Now let's do the second application of dimensional analysis. The second application is, we can derive the formula of any physical quantity. Deriving the formula of any physical quantity. Okay, deriving the formula of a physical quantity. Knowing that that physical quantity is depending upon other physical quantities. So we can derive the formula. Okay, this you will understand by taking one example. Let the time period of a simple pendulum. Time period of a simple pendulum. What is time periods? The time taken to complete one oscillation. Time period of a simple pendulum, capital T. It depends on, given in the question that it is depending upon other physical quantity. It depends upon, let the first factor, mass of the bob, m. It's also depending upon, let length of the pendulum, L. Let it is also depending upon acceleration due to gravity, G. Acceleration due to gravity, G. Now derive the formula for the time period. Given that the time period depends on mass, length and acceleration due to gravity. Now here you have to find out the formula of the time period or the time period in these terms, in terms of mass, length and acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so in these type of questions, we know that time period is depending upon. So we'll write it as time period is proportional to. On what factor it is depending? Mass of the bob, power of which is not known. If we know the power, we know the formula. So here we have to find out the power. Let us raise the power of m to a. It's also depending upon the length. Time period is proportional to length, and how it is depending, directly, inversely, square, whatever it is, we don't know. That is this b power we have to determine. So let us raise the length to the power b, and it's also depending upon the acceleration due to gravity. Let it is the power c. So time period is depending upon these terms. We'll raise it to the power a, b and c. Now equate it. Whenever you equate it, a constant of proportionality comes. Okay, here the constant of proportionality, let it is equal to k. M raised to the power a, L raised to the power b, g raised to the power c. Equation number 1. Okay, now our aim is to find out a, b and c. If we are able to find out a, b and c, we can derive the formula. So we'll find out a, b and c. Okay, in order to find out a, b and c, we substitute the dimensions of each of these physical quantities. Time period. Time period has a dimension m raised to the power 0, L raised to the power 0, t raised to the power 1. It is the time taken to complete one oscillation. So it is t only. K is dimensionless constant. M has got a dimension, capital M, raised to the power a. We are substituting the dimensions of each of this physical quantity. Length has a dimension, capital L. Acceleration due to gravity has a dimension, L, t raised to the power minus 2 raised to the power c. Okay, now in the next step, we'll collect the power of m, l and t on the right hand side. What is the power of m? A. L is raised to the power b plus c. T is raised to the power minus 2c. Whereas on the left hand side, it is m raised to the power 0, L raised to the power 0, t raised to the power 1. Now you can equate the power of m, L and t. Okay, our aim is to find out a, b, c and put it in this equation. So let us equate the powers of m, L and t. Equating the power of m, what do you get? A is equal to 0. Equating the power of b, equating the power of L, we get b plus c is equal to 0. And of t, minus 2c is equal to 1. A we have got, c is equal to minus half. Substitute c over here, you get b is equal to plus half. So we have got a, b and c. Substitute in equation number 1 to get the formula of time period. So time period is equal to some constant k, m raised to the power a here is 0, L raised to the power b, which is half, g raised to the power c, which is minus half. So it is not depending, the time period does not depend upon the mass of the bob. Okay, automatically it comes. So time period is equal to k under root L upon g. L raised to the power half, g raised to the power minus half can be written like this. So here we have derived the formula for the time period. Okay, so note it down. One question I'll give you as homework. Okay, write the question. Frequency n. Let us represent it by n, mu, anything. Okay, let the frequency, this is frequency, depends on length, depends upon tension, length L, tension. Tension has got the same dimension of force. Tension means it is the force only. And it is depending upon mass per unit length. Mass per unit length, let us represent this mass per unit length by mu. Mass per unit length mu. You have to derive the formula of frequency. Okay, it is the homework.